Well, hello everyone and welcome to today's show. Today I'm going to try to keep it short, but if you watch me, may not exactly happen. I have a little video clip where I'm demonstrating something that I can get to repeat. Now, if you watched the preceding show on group control, you might have heard some frustration. In the community, we've had some problems here with this new feature. Doesn't really want to seem to do everything just right. And the common complaint is we're not getting our video notifications, even if we tell them to in the little tick box, little sub menus. So that's one little thing. And sometimes I would get them to work after I switch mode, and sometimes they wouldn't work, and it's just very frustrating trying to chase that down. So I'm going to demonstrate something that at least is not shaking hands properly, and then maybe we'll talk about a little bit of some other eufy peculiarities that they could work on. But right now we have to roll title roll. And by the way, wasn't that one fantastic ending to the Iron Dome? Alright, as some of you may or may not know, eufy's been having a bit of a rough patch here lately with some of their programming issues. And I didn't notice it until recently when I swapped a phone out from an Android 10 to an Android 13 model. I started having all kind of trouble that also landed the same time that I relocated a 2C camera and replaced it with a 2C Pro camera, and the video, everything was just totally not working. They seem to have fixed most of that and some of the connection issues in the November 11th HomeBase update, but we're still having a little bit of weirdness going on. Some of the group functions are still not working right as far as I can tell. Now, I could be wrong and it just be my imagination, but I have discovered something that looks a little hinky, which may be scrambling it along the line, because I could get it to do it sometimes, and sometimes it wouldn't work right, and it just drove me absolutely bonkers. So here we have a typical keypad, and here I have a phone with the app on it, and I'm going to change it to off mode, and we should see, come on, if I can do it with the right kind of pressure, there we go. Now we're going to off, very quick, and it didn't fail this time. I've been having a few connection issues, even though I may only be 3 feet from the base station itself. So anyway, if I wave my hand over it, we should see the blue light for the off light up. Do you see that? Is that working? Okay, now we're going to switch mode using group control to home, and we should hear some beeps. Come on. And we should see the blue house light up when it gets into that mode. See, our blue house. We're in home mode. So now I should be able to, let's go ahead and turn it off again. Now we go off, and we should see the blue light of the down here in the off go. There we go. So it's back in the off mode. Now we'll do it back one more time in the home mode, and I'll show you something. Go back into home. This time, instead of canceling it with the app, I'm going to put in my temporary secret thing. Now, it took it that time. That's just a temporary one. I'm going to change that. But you see, it went off. You saw the blue light flash. But what does the app still think it is? It still thinks it's in home mode. Okay? And I can close this, and I can go ahead and actually exit the app, come back in the app, and the app will still think it's in home mode. So I think somewhere this may be complicating matters a little bit when they don't match. I don't know this for sure. Everything should be local to the HomeBase, to the base station, that little router itself. But in this case, the router and the app are not fully talking to one another, which may be adding to some confusion when we go down in and we try to control our cameras to get our notification. Because what I observed was, sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't work, and I wouldn't get my notifications, and I don't know what's going on. I didn't program this thing. All I can show you is this. When we cancel according to this, it's going to go directly to the home base that it's attached to, that it's been set up on, and that works great. But now my phone still thinks it's in home mode, and in those, that there may be some handshaking, some scrambling of what the devices are actually supposed to be doing, and that may be what's frustrating so many people. So if you can look into this, or if anybody watches this, if they want to comment, if they're still seeing the same thing, or if you want to kick this video in a community or whatever it takes to help people get this resolved, because it is a little bit aggravating. The way I fixed most of my cameras, I just have the ones I'm most interested in get the notification from. I put them and left them on the red router. The blue router is still doing the outside, but I don't want to freak out my UPS guy if he comes up and they motion detect and, you know, scare him thinking that he set off the alarm. I wouldn't want to do something like that. So we do need to have this to work the way it seems to be designed to work. And if it's not the way we think it does, eufy needs to do, in my opinion, eufy needs to do a much better job of explaining how the software works. Give a little bit more than one line of text for an explanation if you need to. Because when we don't understand it, even if it's working right the way you think it's supposed to work right, if it's not working right to us, it seems broken. So really make your functionality clear, and it would help a lot of people. If you like this content, please go to calldeltosell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you. Thank you. All right, let's talk about some just a miscellaneous collected group of things I want to point out, and let's get over here to the side panel. Now, if we want to look at this, we'll start with, this says it's detected by local AI. I'm assuming this is eufy's personal branded stuff. Let's see if we can't zoom in on this a little bit. I'll have to reposition. What you see here is it detects what's clearly a deer's butt. And you see 4 legs, but if we go back to the previous screen that brought up this particular video, I did this so I could get a bigger picture of the first frame, we'll see that it thinks this is human. And this makes perfect sense because the eufy 2C Pro does not have the AI that's capable of determining vehicles and pets. It can only do all motion and human detection, and that's what we got going on there. So I want to pull this down a little bit to talk about 2 things. This actually happens to be a more recent video, and we have a new light here and a new light there. These are LED panels. They're supposed to work, but they are not working correctly according as advertised. But we've got enough light that in the 2C Pro mode with the spotlight, we get a pretty good picture, and we can tell as humans that that's actually a deer. Now, it's actually quite pixelated. You may not be able to tell that. And the exposure isn't too terribly bad, but when we roll that, if I were to roll that, we wouldn't see as much ghosting using the color sensors, the 3 color sensor versus the pure infrared sensors. But you'll also notice that on this snapshot, this first frame, there is no date and time up here. I don't usually put the eufy on. I just usually leave the time date stamp on there. And the 2C Pro is not doing that. The app is not showing me that date and time from that snapshot. Don't know exactly why. Let's look at another picture. All right, here's another example. You see, if we look right here, we would not see. Let me zoom in just a tad on this picture, and we can see, let me pull it up. You can see I got a date and time here. I got a date and time here. These are the other 4 cameras are just 2Cs, the 1080 version. This is supposed to be the 2K version. I don't see a remarkable difference in picture quality. It may be a little bit faster. I replaced this camera, which was 2C, with the 2C Pro, and now you see it. And as like I say, we don't have the time and date stamp on the main screen when you pull up the app, and so it's just missing right here. It is in the video. It does show. It's just delayed when it shows. It's just a little bit of a gripe there. Now here we have me coming back in. Still no date and time up here on the snapshot, even when we roll over to selecting the video form, but it thinks that this is a human. It told me that this right here was a human, although it looks like a car. I'm not even sitting on that side of the vehicle. I'm over here on the driver's side, but yet AI, the local AI, thinks that's human. Now we have well, I think that's the Amazon van leaving from the neighbor's house. Again, no date and time stamp. Here we got date and time stamp, and we have some humans here. But what we don't have is the capture as they walked up to the front door. It's alcoved here. It missed them entirely coming into the house, and there they are. It did catch them when they're large in the photograph. in the individual still frame, it does pick them up as human, but if they come in late, it doesn't do that. Now, I'll probably sacrifice this last little bush. I'm tired of cutting, trimming it, so I'll cut that down. And the sidewalk, you can just see the edge of the sidewalk, and I trim these bushes back. It's a little late in the season. It's almost into Christmas month, and so maybe I can get a little more heads bobbing, and they'll get a little earlier notification so that they can identify these as human. Now here we have another. Let me zoom this one in. This will help. I need to do this for you. Pull this down. All right, I think this is going to be pretty good. You see, this is the main screen. If I flipped it over, it would just give me that detected by local AI. But what we do have is a human walking back. This happens to be my meter reader, my electric meter reader, and he got all the way around here, and it didn't detect him as a human, detected him as motion. It's the same guy, same clothes, same weather conditions, same daylight, same time of day. 9:34 versus 9:35 didn't take him long to read the meter. But when he comes around this way, it missed him as a human, did finally catch him, but look how late it is when it finally snapshots him. This comes back this way, catches him about halfway in between. So their AI is far from perfect. And in fact, a lot of us, what we'll do is we'll use all motion because we can't really count on the human notification to function properly. So we'll use it in terms of all motion, which is why I have this. I don't really have a lot of traffic there in the front. All right, do I have any more pictures in this series? Yes, let's look, see what this is. Here we go. Here we have, as you can easily see, let me zoom that back up. We have blanks. This is a little bit goofy in the Eufy app. It's not showing us always the preview. I don't know why. I saved this particular one off for that purpose. It's not giving that information quite right. And we also see, if I zoom in a little closer, we see that we have something clearly that's a white-tailed deer. 7-second video. This one's all black and white. I don't know if this is before the light fixture went out or not, but it thinks that's a human being. I don't know how our AI is trained where it thinks four-legged animals are in fact deer or not, but it does in fact think that is a human. So let's look at this video of what it actually saw, what the Eufy cam took. Again, this is the pure black and white mode, and this is what she looks like. You can see it's fairly pixelated. The light at the end did come on, but now that we've got a freeze frame, you can see early in the game, it's just very brutally compressed. And I think the level of compression and the absence of the 30 frames per second is what's giving some of these false AI. Because AI learns by seeing, kind of like most of us do. And it just, when the video itself is not clear, you're going to get some hits on that, I think. So I think that's probably pretty much all I want to show today. I hope it's been useful to some people. Not casting aspersions at Eufy. I think they do a fairly good job, but they do have some bugs and some quirks and some issues. And if you think they don't meet your specifications, you might want to try some of the other brands and see how happy you are with some of the other consumer grade equipment that's coming out for surveillance. You might then appreciate what Eufy gets right, but they do have some issues, I think, still that they need to fix. The November 8th update seems to have fixed most of my Android 13 issues, and a lot of the communications, it's still having a hink here and there where it's not communicating with the HomeBase that I may be 3 feet away from. So you do need to watch your results. If you're using group control with multiple home bases, watch to make sure that both or all 3 or all 4, however many you have, all of them are setting the correct mode you want them to. So that's it. Appreciate you watching. Come back and see us. Do the like and subscribe bit. It helps me out a lot. Maybe we can get some of this information out, and if we get enough voices, maybe someone will hear us singing our song of our ancestors. Thank you. Have a good night.